Hey everyone, welcome to part 1 of the books I've read recently, and I'm gonna talk about them video. I haven't done one of these since the end of the summer, and I've read 10 books in between the end of the summer, August, till now, November, so I'm gonna talk about those books because this is a booktube channel, and books are sort of my dealio. That was great, Emma. Good job. So, I'm going to talk about the first 5 books that I read this past quarter time situation, and I apologize for being on my webcam again, but I will say that it's hurting me more than you, because the government is watching me? I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna buy a new memory card soon, because mine doesn't work anymore, so that's just great. Anyone understand how formatting works? Okay, so first 5 books I read this past quarter time. The first one was The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. The Bone Clocks is an exciting tale of intrigue. No, it is actually. The Bone Clocks, if you don't know what it's about, it's very complicated, but it's basically about this woman named Holly, and it follows her life from when she's 13 until she's an elderly person. But it doesn't follow her life in a very linear fashion. It follows her life through other people. The first section is about her, but the rest of it is about other people who are connected to her in some way. It's has a lot of fantastical elements, a lot of mystery, some political messages in there. It's very long, it's very complex, it's very David Mitchell. I really liked this book. I liked it a lot. I had a lot more feelings right after I read it, but the months have gone by and I'm numb to those feelings, like always. But I really liked it. The writing was beautiful. The sentences were rich and gorgeous. I liked Holly as a character. She was definitely my favorite, which I think was the point, since she was sort of the main character. The ending felt rushed, I will say, or maybe I was rushing through the ending. It's hard to say. I wasn't a huge fan of the random political message at the end. Although it is important, the message, I just thought it felt like they just sort of tacked it on. It was like an extra Lego piece they put on to a Harry Potter Lego set. That was a terrible metaphor. And I liked it, and I would recommend it. Next was, okay, actually we're gonna not talk about that book because I talked about that already, and that was Lost for Words by Edward St. Aubyn. The next book I'm going to talk about is Rat Queens, which is a graphic novel that is beloved by many, including Emily, from Emily Jean Lives, and I really enjoyed this book, graphic novel. It was the first part, obviously. I have the second part too, which I will get to at some point. I really liked it. It was very much a setup, like setting up for the rest of the series or rest of the graphic novels, and I mean, that's really all I have to say. I like the characters, I think it's really interesting, it was really fun. Next, The Fry Chronicles by Stephen Fry. This is a memoir about Stephen Fry's life from when he's 18 to when he's 30, mostly following his time at Cambridge and following his time doing comedy as a young man with Hugh Laurie and Emma Thompson and that whole crew. It was really great. If you like Stephen Fry, I would recommend. If you don't like Stephen Fry, I don't know. Maybe you probably would hate it, because if you don't like him, then it makes sense that you wouldn't read a memoir by him. It was really interesting. I liked reading about how Cambridge worked. Thought that was fascinating. I thought the whole dealio was fascinating. I've heard criticism saying that there was too much name dropping, there was too much talk of the other people in his life. I mean, these famous people he knew, like randomly he knew Tilda Swinton, but sort of knew her when he was in college. I don't know, that didn't really bother me. Maybe it's because I'm just a Stephen Fry fanatic, but I don't know. Next was another celebrity memoir, one that I was really excited about and one that was pretty amazing. That was Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. I really loved Is Everyone Else Hanging Out With Me and Other Concerns by her. This is well, it's not really a memoir, it's an essay collection, I should say. It was great. It was inspiring, it was funny, it was wistful, it was Mindy Kaling. It was great, and I would recommend, if you like Mindy Kaling, again. It was just overall a treat and a half, and Mindy and BJ should be together forever. Next, actually might be able to get through them all. I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to talk about all the books I've read recently. Night Film by Marisha Pessl. This book is one that a lot of people have heard of. I had to read it for a class, Modern Women Writers. Marisha Pessl has written some other books, but it's the only one I've read by her. Not important. Night Film is a sort of film noir-esque book about a detective, Scott McGrath, who is trying to figure out what happened to a daughter of a very famous, reclusive, Stanley Kubrick-esque film director. It's film noirish. I enjoyed it. It was a very fun, quick read. I will say that if you get the app, it makes it better. There's a corresponding app that goes with it that kind of creeps you out even more. But again, you need a smartphone, which isn't available for everyone. One part of this book that I wasn't a fan of, for me, every character felt like a trope. They were very cookie cutter. The hardened detective, investigative journalist down on his luck, Scott McGrath. You had sort of the flighty, eccentric sidekick girl. You had the sort of James Dean character. You had the cripplingly, destructive ex-starlet. It felt very tropey, but it was interesting and I enjoyed it. Next was The Woman Upstairs by Claire Masad, another book I read for that same class. This book didn't really do it for me. The writing was cool, but I should say what it's about. It's about a woman named Nora. Nora is in her 40s, and it's about her talking about why she's so angry and why she's the woman upstairs. The woman upstairs is not to be confused with the mad woman upstairs, the Bertha Mason, Jane Eyre woman upstairs. The woman upstairs is the woman who's quiet, who you never really notice, who does everything she's supposed to. It was interesting because I hated Nora. I thought Nora was obnoxious. And she complained about a lot of things that she had control over. She could have changed her life if she wanted to, whatever. But it is an interesting read, and the writing is very, very good, and it's incredibly quick. If you like very flawed characters, then I would pick up Woman Upstairs. My favorite part of this book, though, was how it talked about art. It discussed art in a really beautiful way that I really liked. Next, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sort of companion, but not really, to the Grisha series. I think we've all heard of it. I really like Leigh Bardugo. I like her writing, and she's a super cool person. This book wasn't my favorite. I liked the Grisha series more. I like Six of Crows. I liked the characters. I really liked Kaz, and I don't know if I'm saying this right. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I like those characters a lot. I like that the characters were pretty diverse. That was cool. But I didn't love the ending. I thought it was going to be a standalone, and it's not. I don't think it's a standalone. Is it a standalone? Someone tell me. Someone correct me. And I wasn't really surprised by the ending, so I don't know. I didn't like sort of how it ended or how it moved, but I enjoyed the characters quite a lot. Next, Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is a book that Brie really loves, from Brie May, and I really liked it a lot. I like the movie so much, the one with Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock. This follows two sisters. There's magic. It's about their lives. It's about murder. It's about family. These characters, again, are very deeply flawed. You sort of hate them all, but love them all. It's a good kind of fallish read, I would say, even though it's set more in the summertime. But I still like the movie more, which might be, but I like the movie more. And finally, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, which everyone has read probably by now. I loved it. I adored it. Rainbow Rowell really has done nothing that I haven't loved. I mean, I wasn't a huge Eleanor Park fan, but that still is empirically a very good book. I really loved Carry On. I loved it. I could talk about that all day. But I feel like people have talked about it quite a bit. I will say that the writing was fantastic. I loved Penelope. Penelope was like if Hermione was even cooler, if that's possible. I loved the romance that was important but wasn't everything. I love the idea of friendship and how Simon is a sort of flawed chosen one. I liked how she dealt with these things, and probably my favorite aspect of the world she built, the world that is like Hogwarts and like Harry Potter but nothing like it, is how she dealt with magic and how spells are very much related and deeply rooted in the language that we speak and how language is used in or colloquially, and just how regular people use it and how that language, the more it's used has more power, and more power in magic, which I thought was really cool. So anyway, I know I was going to say I was only going to do half these books, but I just sort of plowed through them. I hope you enjoyed this. If you want to see any deeper reviews, let me know. What are you reading? What are you into? Let me know. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Bye!